Tragedy unfolds at Hong Kong's iconic airport. A cargo plane veers off course and plunges into the sea, leading to heartbreaking loss of life. This shocking event has gripped the world, raising urgent concerns about airport safety and the complexities of modern aviation. But here's where it gets intriguing. Despite the chaos, some details are emerging that might challenge our assumptions about what went wrong. Stick around as we dive into the live updates, unpacking every twist and turn to keep you in the loop. And remember, this is the part most people miss. The human stories behind the headlines that remind us of the risks taken daily in the skies. Visualizing the plane's fateful path, MAP reveals its deviation before hitting the water, updated at 04:23 BST. Thanks to data from Flight Radar 24, our BBC visual journalism team has created a detailed map tracing the cargo plane's route in the moments leading up to the crash into the sea. This visualization helps illustrate how the aircraft strayed from its intended path, providing a clearer picture for those new to aviation incidents. 2. Hong Kong's Transport Authority expresses heartfelt sympathies to affected families, updated at 04:11 BST. The Hong Kong Transport and Logistics Bureau, TLB, has voiced profound sorrow over the tragedy. In a formal statement, they described being deeply concerned and shared their sadness over the deaths of 2 ground staff members. The Bureau extends its warmest condolences to their grieving families. Officials have pledged to launch a thorough investigation into the causes and to prioritize the ongoing safety of all airport activities. 3. Incident occurs during peak cargo hours at the airport, updated at 03:51 BST. Martin Yip, BBC News Chinese in Hong Kong. The crash took place at 03:50 local time, 1950 GMT, as reported by Hong Kong authorities. This timing coincides with a typically hectic period for cargo operations at the airport, when numerous flights are bustling to and fro. In fact, Hong Kong International Airport held the title of the world's busiest air cargo hub in 2024, handling an impressive 429,000 tons of freight just in September alone, a 5.6% increase from the previous year. Aviation has served as a vital link to global trade for Hong Kong since the British colonial days, and local officials recently celebrated 100 years of airport development in the city, highlighting its enduring role. 4. Essential insights from the recent press briefing. Updated at 3:42 BST, the press conference has wrapped up, and we've compiled the key highlights for easy reference. 2 airport security personnel, ages 30 and 41, tragically lost their lives when their patrol vehicle was swept into the sea by the oncoming cargo plane. The aircraft deviated from the runway upon touchdown, smashing through the perimeter fence and striking the patrol car parked outside. The plane split into 2 sections, but all 4 crew members managed to exit through a broken emergency door and were rescued from the water. No distress signals were issued by the plane during its landing approach. Investigators are currently focused on retrieving the black boxes from the sea to aid the probe. The runway was in safe condition for operations when the accident occurred. The north runway, site of the mishap, remains closed pending a full safety evaluation. Airport activities will continue unaffected, with the south and central runways still fully operational. Officials are collaborating with the airline on plans to salvage the plane's wreckage from the water. Law enforcement hasn't ruled out the possibility of criminal inquiries into the event. Stay tuned for further developments. 5. Aircraft wasn't meant to head seaward, updated at 3:40 BST. Image source, Reuters. Addressing a reporter's query, officials clarified that the plane did not follow the correct path. As Airport Operations Executive Director Stephen Yu explained, typically the plane isn't directed toward the sea, no matter how it maneuvers or taxis. The path it took was highly unusual. This revelation adds a layer of mystery to the sequence of events. 6. Airline representatives en route to Hong Kong for wreckage discussions, updated at 0:30 BST. When asked about the next steps for removing the plane's debris from the sea, Airport Operations Executive Director Stephen Yu revealed, "We're in direct communication with the airline and the aircraft's owner. They're all rushing to get here as quickly as possible. Once they arrive, we'll brainstorm the most efficient way to clear the wreckage swiftly." 7. Black boxes still missing from the ocean depths, updated at 3:28 BST. A spokesperson from the Hong Kong Air Accident Investigation Authority, AAIA, confirmed that efforts are underway to locate the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, commonly known as the black boxes, in the sea. The pace of the investigation, they noted, hinges on retrieving these crucial devices. 8. No distress signals were transmitted during the landing, updated at 3:25 BST. According to Stephen Yu, the plane did not emit any distress signals as it approached. Authorities have no additional details at this stage, emphasizing that the probe is still active. 9. Patrol vehicle was positioned safely outside the fences before impact, updated at 3:22 BST. Officials described the vehicle as being at a safe distance from the runway prior to the collision. As Airport Operations Executive Director Stephen Yu put it, it was tasked with monitoring the northern coastal area of the airport and was stationed on the road beyond the fences, not on the runway itself. It absolutely did not venture onto the runway. 10. Runway deemed safe post-incident by officials. Updated at 3:20 BST. Image source Reuters. During the Q&A session, Airport Operations Executive Director Stephen Yu addressed reporters, stating that the runway was in good condition and fully compliant with operational standards at the time of the crash. He mentioned that the south and central runways are running smoothly with no anticipated disruptions to today's flights. The north runway, however, is shut down until a safety check is complete. 11. Emergency responders describe the plane as split in two, updated at 03:15 BST. The Fire Services Department has shared their on-the-ground account. Responders reached the site just 2 minutes after the 03:55 local time alert. They discovered the aircraft had fractured into two pieces, with one half partially submerged. The 4 Emirates crew members had already forced open a door and were waiting for rescue. In total, 213 firefighters, first aid personnel, 45 vehicles, and ships were mobilized to the scene. 12. Aircraft departs runway and collides with vehicle. Airport official details. Updated at 03:12 BST. Airport Operations Executive Director Stephen Yu outlined the timeline of the fatal incident. The plane overshot the runway upon landing, bursting through the fencing, and collided with a nearby airport security patrol car. Regrettably, the aircraft pushed the vehicle into the sea, he said. The 4 crew members on board were promptly rescued. 13. Clear weather conditions prevailed during the event. Updated at 039 BST, Stephen Yu Chung, Executive Director for Airport Operations, reported that the weather was suitable for flights at the time of the accident. He also noted that the 2 deceased ground staff had 7 and 12 years of experience, respectively. No other flights have been impacted today, Yu assured. 14. Hong Kong airport officials commence press briefing, updated at 034 BST. Authorities at Hong Kong International Airport have kicked off their press conference to address the morning's deadly cargo plane incident. We'll share updates here, and you can watch the live feed by playing the video at the top of this page. 15. Cargo plane carried no freight upon crash. Emirates confirms. Updated at 03:01 BST. Image source, Reuters. In a statement to the BBC, Emirates acknowledged that flight EK9788 experienced damage while landing at Hong Kong. The crew are unharmed and no cargo was aboard, the airline said. The Boeing 747 cargo jet was wet leased from ACT Airlines, meaning ACT provided not just the plane, but also the crew, insurance, and other essentials for Emirates to operate it. For beginners, a wet lease is like renting a fully equipped car and driver, as opposed to a dry lease where you just get the vehicle. 16. Background on the involved aircraft, updated at 02:44 BST. This Boeing 747-481 BDSF was once a passenger plane before being refitted as a freighter. At over 30 years old, it first flew in 1993, per Airfleet's records. Throughout its history, it served airlines like Japan's All Nippon Airways (ANA) and Saudi Arabian Airlines, now Saudia. On this occasion, it operated as Emirates Sky Cargo Flight 9788, departing from Dubai and landing at Hong Kong around 3:50 local time, 1950 GMT. ACT Airlines has another Boeing 747 in their fleet, according to Flight Radar 24/17. A seldom-seen fatal event at Hong Kong's airport, updated at 2:22 BST. Martin Yip, BBC Chinese, in Hong Kong. This marks only the second deadly incident at the current Hong Kong International Airport since its relocation from Kai Tak to Chek Lap Kok back in July 1998. The previous one occurred in August 1999 when a China Airlines passenger plane suffered a rough landing amid a typhoon, resulting in 3 fatalities. The North Runway, a more recent addition to the airport's infrastructure, is now out of commission, but operations continue seamlessly on the Central and South runways. 18. Photos capture the striking aftermath of the runway skidding incident, updated at 01:57 BST. Fresh images from Hong Kong International Airport depict the extensive damage to the cargo plane. The fuselage appears to have broken apart in the middle, with the front section propped against a seawall near the runway. Police boats are visible on the scene. Image source, Reuters. Image source, Reuters. Image source, Reuters. 19. 2 fatalities as cargo plane enters the sea at Hong Kong Airport. Updated at 01:50 BST. Image source, Reuters. Reports from local media indicate that a cargo plane at Hong Kong International Airport slid off the runway and ended up in the water, resulting in 2 deaths. Emirates Flight EK9788, flown under Aero Transcargo, was inbound from Dubai and struck a vehicle on the North Runway around 30:50 local time, 1950 GMT. 2 ground staff members were thrown into the sea, according to the Civil Aviation Department, and though initially rescued, they succumbed to their injuries in hospital, as detailed by outlets like RTHK, citing police sources. The airport authority plans a press conference at 10 o'clock local time, 02 GMT. We'll keep you posted with live updates. Don't go anywhere. But here's where it gets controversial. While officials claim the runway was safe and the plane didn't send distress signals, some aviation experts might argue that older aircraft like this 30-year-old Boeing 747 could be prone to unforeseen mechanical failures, especially under the high-pressure demands of a busy cargo hub. Is this a sign that we need stricter regulations on aging planes in global air freight? Or could human error, perhaps in patrol car placement, play a bigger role? And this is the part most people miss. The potential for criminal investigations hints at deeper questions about accountability. Will this incident spark debates on wet leases, where one airline essentially hands over operations to another, potentially diluting oversight? We're eager to hear your take. Do you side with the authorities' assurances, or do you see red flags in the details? Could this tragedy have been prevented with better protocols? Or is it a rare fluke in an otherwise stellar safety record? Share your opinions, agreements, or disagreements in the comments below. Let's discuss.